Boston Zoning Board of Appeal hearing for May 19, 2026 is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the updated provisions enacted by the legislature this year. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings through June 2027. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the Zoom webinar event platform and is also being live streamed. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. Board members, applicants, and their attorneys or representatives participate in this hearing as panelists, and they will appear alongside the presentation materials when speaking. Panelists are strongly encouraged to keep video on while presenting to the board. As with our in-person meetings, comments and support will be followed by comments and opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The chair may limit the number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project, that is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise hand button along the bottom of your screen in the Zoom webinar platform. Click it again, and your hand should go down. When the host sees your hand, you will receive a request to unmute yourself. Select yes, and you should be able to talk. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand. You must press *6 to unmute yourself after you receive the request from the host. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then can provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Stembridge reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. We ask that you keep your comments brief, and all public testimony will be limited to 90 seconds per speaker. Okay, Mr. Stembridge.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Mr. Valencia.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Ms. Turner.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Ms. Bettabraza.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Ms. Panado.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Mr. Collins.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. I'll turn it over to Mr. Stembridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to the rest of the board members. We'll begin today's hearing with the approval of a hearing minutes scheduled for 9:30 a.m. These hearing minutes are from April 16th, April 28th, and May 5th of this year. I'll make a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge.
Yes.
Mr. Valencia.
Yes.
Ms. Turner.
Yes.
Ms. Bettabraza.
Yes.
Ms. Panado.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Next, we'll move on to the extensions scheduled for 9:30 a.m. All extensions appear to be reasonable and will be supported. If anyone has any questions, I'll read them all in whatever result, and then can entertain the questions about the chair. First, we have case BOA 1563584 with the address of 2 Hillsborough Street. Next, we have case BOA 1548022, the address of 1029 Tremont Street. Next, we have case BOA 1530242, the address of 15 Lamont Street. Next, we have case BOA case BOA 1142276 with the address of 79 Brooklyn Street. Next, we have case BOA 1550107, the address of 451 East 7th Street. Next, we have case BOA 1019011 with the address of 2224 Woodbine Street. Next, and finally, we have case BOA 98982-435 with the address of 198 Woodrow Avenue. And those are the extension requests for today.
Thank you, Mr. Stenbridge. Any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, about the last case, 198 Woodrow Avenue. If Attorney Small is here, I'm just wondering about, this is the fifth extension.
Yep.
I wanted to ask Attorney Small about this. And so the first question is, when was this project approved the first time, Attorney Small?
The project was originally approved in 2020, I believe. And since then, we was held up in litigation. There was a property line dispute with the neighbor at 196 Woodrow Ave. So that was in land court for a little while, but that has since been resolved. But it was challenged, property line.
Thank you. So at this moment, the project is ready to move forward?
The project is ready to move forward with another extension.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No
No more
problem.
questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. With that, may I have a motion to grant the extensions as requested?
Motion to
Motion.
grant the extensions as requested.
Is there a
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Bettabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Next, we go to the recommendations scheduled for 9:30 a.m. These are the recommendations from the recent subcommittee meeting. They were all approved, one with the proviso, which I will point out. First, we have case BOA 1797694 with the address of 443 Wachusett Street, which was approved. Next, we have case BOA 1813812 with the address of 59 Bellevue Hill Road, which was approved. Next is case BOA 1823043 with the address of 15 Berkeley Hill Road. This was approved with proviso for site planning review by the Boston Planning Department. And finally, we have case BOA 1721164 with the address of 2 to 20 Fairmont Avenue, which was approved. Madam Chair, those are the results of the subcommittee.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the subcommittee recommendations.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Bettabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
With that, we'll move on to the hearing scheduled for 9:30 a.m. At this time, we'll ask if there are any requests for withdrawals or deferrals from the 9:30 a.m. time frame. I believe there will be, but hearing none now, we'll wait till we can. So, the first case is case BOA 1837594 with the address of 94 to 94B Rockland Street. If the applicants and or their representative present, they please explain to the board.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly, board?
Are you the applicant?
Yes, I am.
Great. Can you state your name and address for the record and please proceed?
Yes, my name is James Guerrero, address is 4255 Washington Street, Rosendale, Mass.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we've gone through a very long community process here to construct a 3-unit building. This project had started off in its primary iteration or first iteration as a 6-unit structure. And after a very long community process and working side by side with the neighbors, came to realize that the density may have been too large for this lot. This is a vacant parcel that's been vacant for quite some time. And so what we had done was we went and did a very long community process and decided to scale this back. And so what we're designing here is we're designing a 3-unit parcel, a 3-unit townhouse building side by side under a lot of guidance from the neighborhood as far as making it into one simple building, creating adequate parking space, being able to reduce the sort of density and scale as far as the roof by creating a mansard structure here to be able to really make it fit within the neighborhood character of the site. And we're looking to get approved for a 3-unit dwelling here.
Questions from the board?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. Is the owner planning to live on this property?
No, not currently.
No, okay. And then I saw that some neighbors had concerns about flooding. Do you have anything to say in regards to that?
I know that we're going to be pursuing approval from Boston Water and Sewer Commission after this. So we had actually taken that into great consideration. Obviously, this is going to be through state and federal law that we have to manage all of the stormwater on site. So we will be mitigating any type of stormwater and runoff as well. The other thing too is the way that we've designed the site is to go with the natural grade of the site as well. So bringing the building forward towards the street and allowing it to slope down as well. In addition to that, that's another reason why we didn't add any underground parking, just due to the fact that it would have to change the grade significantly of the site, and we'd have to bring a lot of fill in and raise it. So we didn't want to really disturb the natural grade of the site. So we designed it this way to really mitigate stormwater and runoff and flooding. And we gone through a very long design process with the community at several meetings outside of the scheduled meetings that we have in neighborhood council, and have shown them at least 4 different iterations of this plan.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, can you just walk us through the parking plan once again?
Yes.
Thank you.
Parking has been a major concern, and so what we did here was that we really took parking into consideration specifically for the neighborhood, because that's a tighter street. What we've done here is that we've paved back a little bit so that we can have 2 parking spaces per unit. It's a 3-unit building. We feel as if 3 parking spaces per unit would really be suffice for this site specifically, just due to parking being really tight for the street and not to disturb the neighborhood. With being a church across the street, Sundays is a day that There's high traffic there. When we're thinking through snow and snow removal, having all that parking off-site and allowing 2 parking spaces per unit is something at the request of the neighborhood, and we fully agree with them regarding
Thank
that.
you.
Can you confirm, is this condos or rentals?
It is condos.
Condos, thank you. Any other questions from the board?
To piggyback on Ms. Turner's comment about the parking, did you receive any feedback from the planning department about how much space you are allocating for parking in the driveway? Just looking at the site plan, it looks like you are using probably more than 30% of the whole site for parking and pavement. So did you get any feedback about reducing parking or reorganizing the parking to provide more open space?
We didn't get any provision from the planning department, but really what we were thinking through is really for the neighborhood. And what we did was we had some feedback from neighborhood council and also the neighbors to design the parking plan. And due to the fact that this is a fairly long site and larger site, the whole back area will remain open space.
Okay, thank you.
With that, may I have public?
I have one more question. Is your architect on by any chance?
He is not on, he was
Okay.
fortunate.
I think it's a pretty, straightforward project. You have a tremendous amount of site work on the lot with the amount of trees that you have. But the only thing that I would say to work with the neighborhood's character is that the front facade almost looks like the back of the building, and I'm not sure if I should recommend a BPD design review just for the kind of the front. Because I know that you've gone through a very elaborate process, but just by switching the stairs to the other side and really having the kitchen face the front, you'll be able to have better kind of symmetry with windows to work with the residential frontage. So it's not necessarily a zoning, but it's more of the character of the neighborhood. But I just wanted to make that comment to my colleagues. Right now, it's just the front looks like the back of the building.
Yeah, I think we'd definitely be amendable to working through that front facade more to make it work.
Yeah. That way you're not putting all the windows at the corner because you're trying to accommodate your stairwell. I think you could do it. You can have it more, the kitchen space, the social space out to the front. Okay, no further questions. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner has completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on June 9th, 2025 for a different version of this proposal, which was very lightly attended, but at which a direct abutter expressed opposition due to density. The applicant then made a number of changes reducing the density and met with abutters privately, as well as 3 times with the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council, which ultimately voted to support this proposal, but requested a proviso that there be sufficient screening on both sides of the property. That background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Frank.
Thank you. Frank Holmes here. Own the property with my siblings at 92 Rockland Street, so direct abutter to the property. I did submit a letter to the board last night. I'm hoping that that's been received, but just very briefly to summarize, we'd had several discussions with Mr. Guerriere regarding ownership of the property. We requested that there be a condition, if any decision that the ZBA makes, that the units be owner occupied, and that the documents for the condo include a lock-in provision for 25 years, so that they will need to be owner occupied for a minimum of 25 years, and that can't be changed. We would request that lock-in provision be a condition of any decision the ZBA make. Second, I have two other points briefly. We did raise I raised at the neighborhood council meeting. I didn't see listed as part of the relief being requested here for use as a multifamily. And it's my understanding that the zoning here is for single-family residential. And so the neighborhood council didn't feel that that was to be addressed by them. But I'm asking the question here. I believe that that relief is also required. And then my third point is, in discussions with Mr. Guerrier, we had, inconsistent with the council's recommendation for screening, we had requested that he provide a budget for us, for our property, for landscaping. And I just I'd like to hear from James. I sent you an email yesterday, James, regarding the amount of that. I don't know if you can comment if you are committing to what we're asking for here. Our support is dependent on that.
Thank you.
So Frank, I did actually respond to your email.
Okay, I didn't see that. Sorry about that.
And we did commit to doing that. As we said, we worked really elaborately and a very long process with the neighbors, and we were amendable to that. We understand that screening was important to you, so we did concede to fund that budget towards that. So we did email you, and we responded to that.
Thank you. I didn't see that.
Any other comments? Any other raised hands?
Also, regarding that relief.
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
We don't have additional comments.
Any other response from the applicant?
Yes, regarding the relief, I do believe when looking at my zoning code refusal letter, the one that has been updated and submitted to the board, that use variance is listed as one of the violations.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 180-5281 with the address of 101 Edgemere Road. If the applicants and/or the representative are present, will they please respond to the case of the board?
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairwoman, I apologize that members of the board. My name is Attorney Francis Adams with a business address of 350 West Broadway in Boston, Mass. I represent the owners of the vacant land at 101 Edgemere Road in West Roxbury. The property is located in a multifamily residential subdistrict, which allows townhouse development as well as other properties. This application is to construct two townhouses, attached townhouses on a vacant parcel of land. There has never been any development on the parcel. The lot size of the parcel is almost 6,200 square feet. Each townhouse will be approximately 31 feet high, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, over grade slab parking with the first and second floor and an unfinished attic. The application is consistent with the Boston planning goals and Imagine Boston 2030, which is promoting infill development. As I said, this has been a vacant parcel of land. For the members of the board, the property is surrounded almost entirely on the left and rear by a Jewish cemetery association, and to the right there is an abutters property. This Edgemere Road is a long road that leads into a housing development. At the end of the road, this particular side of the road, as I said, there's no residential development after the property on the right-hand side. We are seeking relief for 5 violations. FAR is excessive. Height is excessive only because of the number of stories. This is a 2.5-story district, but the height of the property is 31 feet, which is well below the 35-foot limit. Side yard is insufficient, usable open space, and the use is forbidden. For the record, the use is forbidden because the property is located in a 1F 6,000 district. As I said, though, this is consistent with, it's in an MFR, multifamily residential sub-district, which allows for row house or townhouse development. Just a couple of points. As I said, we've had a good community process. We met with the abutters and the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council, who voted to support the project. We also are aware of the Planning Department recommendation for approval. The only other issue, again, is the height. As we said, it's only a height violation because it's 2.5 stories, not of any height of the property. We believe this is a reasonable development consistent with the mayor's goal to create infill housing on vacant lots of land, and it's consistent with the surrounding housing stock. There are variations of housing, 1 family, 2 family, as well as multi-family large apartment buildings at the end of Edgemere Road. We believe this is a good application. We're not using the whole lot. There's going to be green space, there's going to be rear yards, and there's also going to be rear decks to increase the open space for each of the 2 units. And parking for the units will be at grade and under the building, so there'll be no parking in the front of the property. With that, we will take any questions from the board.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Yes. Can you walk us through the curb cut for the parking?
Yes. So that's one of the planning department's recommendation. It was for design review consistent. They are recommending that there only be 1 curb cut. There is no curb cut on Edgemere Road right now. This is a vacant parcel of land. So we are familiar with the planning's recommendation. My client is amenable to having a single curb cut, which will branch off to the left and the right to allow access to the property.
Thank you. Any other questions? May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. Petitioner has completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on January 27th, at which one abutter raised questions, but no opinions were stated. An abutter at number 95 was not able to attend the meeting, but wrote a letter of opposition to our office, which was forwarded to the board. The applicant met with the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council, which voted to support this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Rachel. Rachel?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I live at 95 Edgemere Road. I am right next door to where the proposed building is. And my concern is that this is an overbuild for the size of the lot. And I have several old trees along the fence line on my property, and I'm concerned about damage to those trees with an overbuild.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
Can the applicant address that feedback?
Sure, thank you. We're not aware of the tree line, but as the board may know, we will not be able to attach or touch anyone's trees on their own lot. We believe this application is a very reasonable development for a 6,200 square foot lot. At the meetings that we had with the community group, we did an analysis of the surrounding properties in the average, and that's all of Edgemere Road, as well as Willis Street and DeSoto, which about surround this area. And the average square foot is approximately 3,600 for all of the properties in that area, which is just about what we're proposing here. We don't believe at all that it's an overreach. It's a 2.5-story building. And on vacant land, it's consistent with the housing stock. As the planning department states in their recommendation, it's very consistent with the size and scope of all of our surrounding properties. And again, with respect to the trees, we have no problem working with the abutter if there's a concern with the trees. This has not been raised as an issue to us. But respectfully, if there's an issue with trees, we'll work with the abutter to make sure that they're pruned and trimmed and we don't bother them.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion for approval with a proviso that the plans be submitted to the planning department for design review with a focus on consolidating the singular curb cut on the lot that preserves maneuverability.
Is there a second? Thank you. Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, members. Appreciate it.
Next, we have case BOA 1806951 with the address of 55 to 57 St. Mark's Road. The applicant and/or their representative are present. Would they please explain to the board?
Thank you, Mr. Stenbridge. Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Kyle Smith of Statera Law, business address of 359 Newbury Street of Boston's Back Bay. I do have the owner on the call as well and the project architect. We have a pre-existing two-family that is currently occupied by the owner's two sons. The proposal is merely to add dormers to the current third floor, to add usable living space to create a third unit. 934 net additional square feet, 3-bed, 1-bath, increasing a pre-existing non-conforming FAR of 0.67, rendering it a proposed 0.84. There's an existing curb cut. There's 2 current off-street parking spaces. The proposal is to add a third space, with 2 of them being in tandem to provide 1 space per unit. The owner who's on the call has an additional child that's going to reside in the third floor, twins. They're going to reside in the third floor, so the entire proposed 3-family structure will be owner occupied. We did present to the SMACA on the 31st of March, and we do have a vote of support that's been provided to Stephanie Haynes for your review. So I think any existing nonconformity is pre-existing, so by going vertically, we do have a further exacerbation of a pre-existing side yard setback. But otherwise, I think it's relatively self-explanatory. I'm happy to defer and turn it over to the board for questions and or commentary by the architect or owner.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 55 to 57 St. Mark's Road, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on 1/12/26 that was well attended by several Dorchester community members. The feedback from this meeting was concerns of density, where the community members mentioned that ongoing parking issues at this proposal, they are worried will increase if the condo unit will still be owner occupied in the years to come instead of turning into a rental. The proposal was also reviewed by the St. Mark's Area Civic Association at their meeting on 3/31/26. The association expressed support. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you everyone for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board, Liam Remus from Councilor Fitzgerald's office. Our office would like to go on record in support of this proposal. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
Okay, would the applicant like to respond to that feedback?
Yes, just briefly, at the abutter meeting, the original proposal was for 2 off-street parking spaces, which are the pre-existing number of spaces. In response to the question about additional parking, that was where the 3rd additional parking space was entered, and that updated site plan was kicked back to ISD, which ultimately removed our violation for non-conformity for parking. So we did work to try to address the concerns of the community from the initial abutters meeting, and then the updated number of parking spaces was presented to the SMACA on the 31st of March, for which we do have the SMACA's approval. So we think that we have tried to accommodate and work with the community on the original current number of parking spaces to add a 3rd.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion of approval.
Second. Thank you. Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you kindly.
Next, we have case BOA 1797245 with the address of 2038 Dorchester Avenue. I believe one of our members will be recusing themselves.
Yes, I need to recuse myself from this case, thanks.
Thank you. So we will be a 6-member board.
If the applicant and or their representative are present, would they please explain the case to the board?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Ernst Guerrier with an office address of 299 Gallivan Boulevard. Amazingly, it's just right down the street from this property. I have the pleasure of representing the owner of the property sitting to my left, Marie Guerrier, who also happens to be my wife. So I have to do a good job this morning, Madam Chair. I present to you in the board for your approval 2038, which is a transit-oriented project. As you can see, it's located right in the Dorchester corridor, only a few blocks away from Ashmont Station. Directly in front of the building is 10 bus lines. The proposal is for a 4-story building with ground floor retail space. I should submit to you that the project we started way back in 2025, and originally it was for a 24-unit building. We engaged the community by my office sending out letters to abutters as well as members throughout the community. We heard from them, and thank you for all who may be online today. After hearing back from them, we scaled it back to 18. We also engaged all of the stakeholders, including our elected officials, and then we scaled it back again to 12. During the process, I should point to you, there was a fire in the back of the building that damaged part of the building, and then as a result, the building now sits vacant. And while the fire took place, I should report to you, no one was badly injured, even though the tenants were displaced. We had the opportunity to engage with BPDA, who assisted in the design and made some recommendations. So what we have for your approval is this project, and we're seeking relief from 9 variances, predominantly Article 65, which is multifamily forbidden. This is an existing 2-family, so it was already forbidden. And I should let you know that historically this building has been a mixed use, where the previous owner used the 1st floor for his law office and the 2nd floor residential. General forbidden use for retail space. In keeping with the characteristic and what we heard from BPDA is that most of the newly designed project in Dorchester have a 1st floor retail. We have not made the determination what we will ultimately do with the 1st floor. Our intention probably is move our law office there and keep the rest of the building residential. Off-street loading, there is, in fact, a driveway and existing parking lot. So again, depending on what goes in the 1st floor, we would modify that in off-street parking. I would submit to you, generally, and my office, again, is right down the street, is not an issue for Dorchester Ave, and they have plenty of off-street parking. As I pointed out earlier, it's right down the street from Ashmont and the bus line. The floor and the height, what we've heard throughout the process from most of the community members in our abutters is that they wanted an all-access building that would accommodate everyone, including those who may be physically challenged. And as a result, Marie decided to put an elevator in the building, and that's the height restriction. My architect is also online, Fred Moneygat, who will walk you through the design process. And I should just say to you, for your review, I'm happy to support more than 42 letters of support. Most of them directly from neighbors to the left, neighbors to the right, as well as our elected officials, we were able to get letters of support from Madam Council Bootsy Lejeune, Julia Mejia, Minion Culpepper, and we've worked with the office of Brian Roel, who may or may not be online. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Fred Moneyguy to walk you through the design. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to address them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'll keep it very brief. I think Mr. Guerrier alluded to a lot of the points that I was planning on making. The basic fact of the building is we're presenting 12 units, 6 one-bedroom, 1 bath, and 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's a transit-oriented design, so we're located on what we feel is a very accessible address in terms of public transportation. 3 minutes from Ashland Station, 12 bus stops right in front of the building. We're proposing a 4-story building that is in keeping with a lot of the structures already on Dorchester Ave and a lot smaller than a lot of the new construction that have been put up in the last couple of years. So it's basically a building that we think is going to be in keeping in scale and style with what's in the neighborhood, keeping the vernacular intact, and keeping the units to a point where they're small enough that they actually fit the transit-oriented model in terms of 1 and 2 bedrooms. We are providing 3 parking spaces that have not been dedicated to anyone in particular. That can be decided at a later time. Maybe they'll support the retail office space that could be in the ground floor, or maybe they can be assigned to maybe 3 tenants that may have some special needs. So, and having said that, I'm open to any questions you may have on the design. Thank you very much.
Thank you. How much green space is there? I guess I'm not seeing bushes or trees on the site.
I don't know if you can bring the site plan. One of the things that comments that we received from the neighbors and the many community meetings we've had was an issue regarding lack of green space. And one of the things we are committed to doing is assuming that we probably will need to have some sort of review with BPDA, is to actually bring these issues to front and address them. We feel like it's very easily tackled by providing some green space in the front of the building and also towards the back. We will have a driveway that will be a permeable space, and then maybe there'll be some opportunities there to have some green line bushes alongside the properties. So there's some work to be done in that sense, but we do intend to make some progress towards that goal.
Thank you. Other questions from the board?
Can you address whether this is rental or homeownership and how you comply with the inclusionary development policy?
Well, I don't know if Ernst wants to answer that. I know we are obligated to meet the ordinance in terms of affordable set aside, so that will be done. And I do believe that is intending to go above and beyond that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the questions. And again, during my brief presentation, I mentioned extensive community engagement. Originally, when we started, we intended to make those all rentals. And when we engaged civic leaders, there was a very strong desire for home ownership, and they educated us on the need for that. And what we would like to do, with permission of the board, is to make them condos, but reserve 2 of them simply because we have 2 kids who no longer want to live with us and have a desire to move back into their city. With approval from the board, we'd like to keep at least 2 of the units for ourselves so that we can pass them on to our children, but the remaining would be condos to promote homeownership in the community.
I think as long as it does not interfere with the IDP requirements, like you're not taking those 2 off of the 12.
No.
Well, how many units are affordable is really the question of this project?
2. Yes.
2 units, okay.
Yes.
2, okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, may I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 2038 Dorchester Ave, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on 12/1/25. That was well attended by several Dorchester community members, where the feedback from this meeting was overall productive, although there were some concerns expressing density and parking. Additionally, we received letters of support from Councilor Minier Culpepper, Councilor Julia Mejia, and Councilor Ruthie Louijen. We also received 20 letters expressing support and 2 letters expressing opposition to the project. The proposal was also reviewed by the Lower Mills Civic Association, and the applicant had had some difficulties in conversation where the Civic Association had significant concerns, including density, parking, setbacks, as well as height, and requested the applicant make major changes and return to meet with them at a later date. The applicant wished to move forward with their proposal at this time. The Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you everyone for your time and consideration.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional hands raised at the moment.
Thank you. Can you comment again on the ground floor uses?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ernst.
Yes, so the ground floor, my office again is at 299 Gallivan Boulevard. And in terms of just give you geographic location, it's just 1.5 blocks away. Our intention is to move the office to the ground floor. And that was, again, born out of the community concern. They just didn't want a lot of people coming in and lack of parking. And the way we operate, we are able to schedule those who visit our office, and we do a lot of Zoom meeting, and we think that would be represent the least amount of disruptive to our neighbors and the community.
Okay. Mr. Hampton, are you on? Can you clarify the use piece, the general retail versus a law office?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jeff Hampton, City of Boston Planning Department. General retail is a completely different use than a professional office. So I think if the appellant were to put his law office on the ground floor of this building, they'd need a change of occupancy because, like I said, general retail is a very different use than a professional office. So that, I just want that as a point of clarity and just an FYI for the appellant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very noted.
Is someone named Thomas, are you looking to speak?
I am, Madam Chair.
Okay, briefly, yes, please.
My name is Thomas Maestros. My address is 1049 Adams Street in Dorchester. I'm representing the Lower Mills Civic Association, of which I have been a board member for approximately 30 years. I am a 39-year resident of Lower Mills. I'm a registered architect, and I've spent 14 years, and also spent 14 years working as a design review architect with the BRA, where I had the opportunity to prepare and present projects like this for the board's consideration. I am here today to voice that Lower Mills Civic Association's strong objection to the proposed variances. The opposition is based on the excessive release being sought. The comments that moving forward on what those points would be, the proposed plan places 12 units on a site where 3, I repeat, 3 are allowed. There's not another, there's one, with the exception of one property, there's not another multifamily building within the 70-foot radius of the building, with the exception of the Boston Home, which is across the street, and that's on a 5-acre lot. The proponent plans for a 4-story structure in a neighborhood of approximately 2.5-story structures, single and 2-family structures. But although there are a few 3-family dwellings to the south between this property and Morton Street, Galvin Boulevard. The proponent plans commercial use on the ground floor, a forbidden use in the 3F subdistrict. As the board is aware, these commercial uses have been a problem to rent even in the popular community commercial subdistricts, so parking without stand a good chance of, without parking this space stands a very good chance of not being able to be leasable. The proponent plans only 3 parking spaces for 12 units, or a 1.25 parking ratio. It's not clear how the spaces will even be accessed by their plan, as insufficient spaces being provided for maneuvering. Even the TOD2 development that's up in right at Ashmont Station has a 2-to-1 parking ratio. So this ratio, we don't even believe that the project could be financeable with so few parking spaces. The proponent proposes no front yard setback, although they had come to us indicating that they would.
Can you please wrap up your points? Can you please wrap up your points? So no front yard.
The project has no usable open space. The FAR is almost double the allowable FAR. The underlying F3D residential subdistrict is established to maintain the character of the area, which is.
Thank you. Okay, can the applicant briefly respond?
Yeah,
Yes. Go ahead, Fred.
Yes, Madam Chair, I think there were a few points that were made that maybe I can address very quickly. In terms of the scale of the building, I think if you stand in front of a proposed building, I think within viewing distance, you will notice a few addresses such as 910 Dorchester Ave, 1943 Dorchester Ave, 1975 Dorchester Ave, 2045 Dorchester Ave. That's just 4 of them that I can think of right now. They are a much larger scale than what we're proposing. And if anybody was familiar with Dorchester Ave, this corridor does have several 4 to 5 story buildings, and what we're proposing is not foreign to what's been in the neighborhood for a while, also what's been presented and built in the last few years. As far as a setback, there is a little bit of setback being presented right now. At the site where there will be opportunity to plant some bushes and some greenery, but we are open to pushing the building back a little bit to create even more of that if desired. Regarding the parking, I think we were very frank at the onset of this presentation that this is a transit-oriented design. And with a project that is within walking distance to Ashmont Station with 12 bus lines right in front of our building. So we feel that the parking issue, while we understand how important it is to the community, we feel like because of the nature of this building, we mitigate that quite a bit. Thank you very much. You're on mute, Madam Chair, sorry.
Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I just, in regards to the BPD recommendations of providing some front yard setback, that would ensure kind of elimination of the 3 parking spaces in the rear. I do see problems with the maneuverability of getting in and out with one of the parking spaces right at the end of the driveway. And so the question really yields, would the project still work without any parking spaces if you were to really include some front yard setbacks of, based on what BPD is recommending? So the question for the applicant, would it still work if you were to eliminate 1 or 2 spaces to accommodate yard?
Yes, we believe that the project will still stand on its own merit if we were to reduce the number of parking. And as I mentioned, this project is a transit-oriented proposal. We're not relying on parking for the viability of the project. We expect and actually will encourage many of our inhabitants to actually take advantage of public transportation. And the parking spaces were being proposed, we feel like as some sort of bonus amelioration on the site. And I think if we needed to push back the building and sacrifice 1 parking space, I think to me it's a valuable and trade-off, and that I will be willing to. And again, we are very flexible in terms of our arrangement with whatever you guys propose in terms of engagement with DPDA and making some changes to the building or to the site plan. But I think when you look at the building overall, the scale, the number of units, the type of units that are being proposed, I think that's very in keeping with what's being proposed up and down Dorchester Ave. And I think we're very excited about this project.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Sir, we're not going back and forth with public comment, so now is the time for the board to speak. Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the project undergoes BPD design review for site planning on the overall location of the building to kind of work with its context setbacks. And the other proviso is to allow for the BPD to determine the amount of parking, if any, but to increase open space, which I feel would be needed for a 12-unit to accommodate dumpsters, trash. That would be my motion.
And a housing agreement to be executed.
I'm sorry, and then to also a third proviso that the applicant enters into a housing agreement with MOH to provide affordable units per the IDP regulations.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stumbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, the next two cases are companion cases. I have a note that the first one will be withdrawn and the second will be deferred. With that, we have case BOA 1776829 with the address of 31 Plain Street. This is the one that have notice being withdrawn. And I'm sorry, along with that, we have case BOA 1776822 with the address of 29 Plain Street.
And Caroline, do they already have a new deferral date?
Yes, so for 29 Plain Street for June 16th at 11:30 a.m.
Do you need two separate motions? Or one
No,
is? Okay.
one is enough.
Okay, so may I have a motion?
Motion to defer until June 16th of this year at 11:30 a.m.
To defer 29 Plain Street. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
So with that, we'll move on to the next case, which is case BOA 1805913 with the address of 42 East Street. If the applicant and or their representative are present, they please explain to the board.
Good morning, Chair, Madam Chair, and members of the board. My name is Bonnie Tan with JCBT Architect. We have came into the board a couple of years ago for the variance of 42 East Street. And at the permit stage, not realized the last plan examiner missed a couple of items on the refusal letter. So the drawing layout hasn't been changed since after BPDA. So the added item that was missing, including additional insufficient lot per dwelling unit, use regulation, and main door being on the side. So these actually, the doors we have been discussed at the first meeting, but it wasn't on the refusal letters. And we're seeking to see if the board can approve this matter today.
Questions from the board? Mr. Hampton?
So just to confirm that you have 3 units, the project is for 3 units and 9 parking spaces?
The parking spaces hasn't been changed and it's still 3 unit. Yes, we have plenty of parking spaces.
So why do you need 9 parking spaces for 3 units?
We have actually reduced the number of parking spaces to put more, 2, 4, 6 parking spaces. From the first meeting, the board was seeking, we have a couple of visitor parkings in the front. From the very first of the zoning hearing that the board suggests to reduce those parking and push the building forward and have more green space. So we don't have outdoor parking anymore. It's just 6 garage parking. There's no outdoor parking.
Okay, just on the planning department recommendation, they notice 6 garage spaces and 3 surface spaces.
So we have
you
Mr.
don't have
Hampton
those
here. Perhaps you can.
surface spaces anymore.
Yeah, there's no more outdoor parking spaces.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hampton?
Mr. Hampton?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Jeff Hampton, City of Boston Planning Department. As the appellant stated, they do have stamped approved plans by the BPDA for 6 garage parking spaces. We were a little confused on why this was coming back when they did have stamped plans, and we were wondering why all of a sudden these 3 violations were now being cited after the ZBA had approved this back in 2023 and the appellant had received our stamped approved plans. We were curious if the design is changing and what else might be happening. So we just want to have some sort of confirmation that this was an error by ISD and that because I don't see any new plans, they are still using the ones that were stamped by us to be presented to the Inspectional Services Department.
Correct, there's no changes since BPDA approval. It was ISD error that missing 3 items of the violation on the refusal letter.
And this was brought after you had tried to bring the plans to ISD?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair, members of the board, for the record, my name is Jeremy Bembury. I'm the Dorchester Community Engagement Specialist with the Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant has completed the community process, which consists of a subcommittee flyer distributed to abutters, as well as encouraging the abutter to reach out to the Civic Association, and with no community feedback was approved to move forward. Thank you for your time. The Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services would like to defer to the board.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
sorry.
I just have a clarification. Can you go to the front, the parking spaces, please? The front elevation, where you see the garage. So I'm reading the front elevations.
Page 6.
Yep, keep going. Okay, I see. So this garage is internal to the driveway, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm still a little bit confused in regards to what we're approving. So maybe, Madam Chair, you can just clarify one more time what we're approving.
I see Mr. Hampton's hand up. I think he can do this
this
better
might
justice.
this may be very splitting of hairs, but the design that is being shown here is different than what is on the stamped plans.
That was per BPDA request.
When? Because we have stamped plans from 2024 that do not show these changes.
Can I make I'm sorry, can I make a motion of deferral so that we know, we have just a clear picture of what we're approving, because there
I
seems
think that would be helpful, since again, the project description also seems slightly off, right, with the 3 spaces, and then it seems like the plans are different than what BPD approved. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Mr. Valencia,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza,
Yes.
Ms. Pinato,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Stephanie, do you have a date for them?
The next date would be July 14th.
Okay.
And can I make a recommendation that the applicant, if you can provide a submission of what BPD stamped as the approved plans, and submit that with then these design and outline what is being changed or what we are approving. Just a little bit of context would be helpful in the explanation of the project.
Understand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next case is case BOA 1543093 with the address of 1195 to 1199 Dorchester Avenue. And before we go any further, Madam Chair, I believe we have some recuse themselves from this case.
Yes, I need to recuse myself from this case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are again a 6-member board.
So with that, we will ask for the applicant and or the representative to explain the case to the board, please.
Sure. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Derek Small. I'm a business adjuster of 51 Dobson Road. With me today is the architect for the project, Mr. Anthony Pisani. And so today we're here seeking relief to combine parcels, demolish the existing structure at 2 Greenmount Street, and erect a 3-story building for offices and retail spaces at the address on Dorchester Avenue. The zoning subdistrict here is straddles 2 zoning subdistrict, property does, which is the neighborhood shopping district and the 3FD 3000 subdistricts. We are, with a combined lot size of about 12,100 square feet, we're seeking to erect the 3-story building for offices and retail. With regard to zoning violations, Inspection Services Department has cited us in both zoning sub-districts, and so we are seeking relief from this board for those violations. The FAR in the neighborhood shopping district, the required FAR is 1, and the 3FD is 1.3, and our proposal is at 1.6. With regard to the use, the accessory parking in the residential is forbidden use, and the use in the retail in the residential we're also seeking relief for. I can stop there and let Mr. Pisani present the plans and go through the program as presented. Jesus, if you can allow Mr. Pisani to...
Yes, thank you. I just would like to point out that these plans, while the plans are accurate, these are older elevations and do not absolutely reflect the changes that we made to the project. The changes that we made to the project were basically elevational changes. If you could go back to the front elevation, I'll simply describe those.
Scroll down one more. That's the parking plan. One more. One more.
That's a section.
Want the section through or? Okay, one more.
No.
This is trying to.
Okay. So this was the first scheme. And the first scheme shows, and the major change was that this scheme shows brise soleil across the front elevation. The neighbors thought that that was a little bit aggressive. And what we did was we subsequently eliminated the brise soleil and we used a larger cornice line that is a curved cornice line. The project, other than that, the plans, if we go to the plans now,
Scroll down, Dan.
okay, so we can describe the project well from here. The project is on Dorchester Avenue and Greenmount Street, the corner of, backs and is surrounded by the dot block. The project consists of retail on the ground floor and small-scale office space on the second and third floor. One of the needs that has been developed over time in this neighborhood is there is very little space for small-time commercial, and the community and the owner have discovered that there's a need for small-time office space for everything from accountants to perhaps dentists to
Yeah, and so we've worked extensively with the community with regard to the retail space and the office space. The current occupant of the building is a Nail Bay salon and businesses that will be moving into the building as well. And we've heard extensively from the community that they would like to see a bank or a credit union on the retail ground level, going for the retail space. And so that's what we are seeking to do. If you scroll down a little bit further, Madam and Mr. Adept, okay, you can stop right there. This shows the parking plan. The parking will be off of Greenmount Street. We are proposing 12 parking spaces in the rear of the building, and the traffic flows from Pleasant Street in Dorchester down to Dorchester Avenue. There is an existing curb cut on Greenmount Street, and then folks would turn right onto the street and then take a right onto Dorchester Avenue. So the traffic flows pretty steadily. We work with the community, again, extensively. We sought a curb cut off of Dorchester Avenue, but the Transportation Department did not agree with that, as there is a very large curb cut which supports the dot block building on Dorchester Avenue within that block. The parking, again, will be off of Greenmount Street, 12 spaces, and we will be using the existing curb cut on that site. We can stop there and take any questions that folks may have.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services regarding 1195 to 1199 Dorchester Ave. Our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process has been ongoing, and a meeting was hosted more than 2 years ago. Considering the time passed, we requested another meeting that was hosted on 3/18/26 that was well attended by several Dorchester community members and mostly residents from Greenmount Street, the street that this proposal intersects. The feedback from this was residents had significant concerns in regards to parking, as they were unsure how 12 spaces would accommodate both ground floor retail and office spaces above. They also expressed that their street received significant congestion during rush hour and were worried that this proposal would only exacerbate that issue. The proposal was also reviewed by the Columbia 7 Hills Civic Association, where they requested changes for the proposal to include a drop-off area and additional curb cut for the traffic to flow better. The Association Planning and Zoning Committee recommended support for the general membership vote. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you, everyone, for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board, Lane Remus from Councilor Fitzgerald's office. I'd also like to go on record in support of this proposal, but we've also received a bunch of comments from constituents about the parking entrance and exit off Greenmount Street. So just looking forward to, hope they continue to work with the residents, just kind of address and alleviate the concerns.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
Can I just add, Madam Chair, that prior to the sponsored abutters meetings, we have been working with, and we will continue to work with the residents on Greenmount Street. We've had several meetings with them, and we will continue to do that as the project moves forward if approved. Also, we are amenable to the recommendations of the BPD with regard to this project as we move forward. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval that the project undergoes BPD design review to pay special attention to the screening that's required along the parking area, and also just for site planning review.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. Have a good day.
Next we have case BOA 1824677 with the address of 16 Nightingale Street. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, they please explain the case to the board.
Sure. My name is Alex Tsapkov. I'm the owner of the property, and Dmitry is my general contractor and partner on this. This case was actually approved in 2023 already, and then it was retroactively refused because of ISD errors, similar as to the previous, not previous, but the case site before that was mentioned, and they went through the same thing. They left out one of the variances. Back in 2023, we went through the abutters meeting. We talked to we obtained letter of support. Everyone was on board with this project. This is about 1 block away from Talbot Station, so it is a transitory development as well. We're not adding any, we're not changing the building envelope, aside from adding the balcony in the back. And the 4th floor was already pre-existing prior to the fire damage. It was used as attic space. We just asked to convert that to a habitable unit, a 4th unit. You're looking at the new proposal. Again, nothing has changed since 2023. This is identical to what was presented in 2023 and was already approved. The difference, and Dmitry can speak more on this, was in that one of the variances was missed at that time, which did not surface until we were going ahead through actual rebuild later on.
Sir, what was the violation that was missed?
It was parking radius. Dmitry, do you want to speak more on that?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm having trouble by video, so I apologize for that. I'm trying to get that in order. But I believe it was instead of 5 feet, it was down to, they referenced it as 3 feet. And that was the only difference, is the 2 feet difference. But the inspector, when we applied for the building permit, still requested us to come back. But it was approved by the ZBA.
Thank you. Are there other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and members of the board, for the record, my name is Jeremy Bembury. I'm the Dorchester Community Engagement Specialist for the Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant has completed the community process, which consisted of a notification flyer distributed to abutters. To date, our office has received 1 letter of concern regarding parking during construction, as the resident feels parking will be disrupted for his family in the area during construction. So that has been sent to the board for review. Thank you for your time. The Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services would like to defer to the board for their judgment.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional hands raised at the moment.
Okay. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep it.
Next, we have case BOA 1836018 with the address of 18 Drummond Street. If the applicants and/or their representative are present, would they please explain to the board?
Yes, Mr. Stenbridge. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Derek Small of the address of 51 Dobson Road. I'm here today seeking relief to erect a 3-family dwelling on a vacant lot. The zoning subdistrict here is a 3F 5,000, so it is a 3-family zoning subdistrict. Our violations are FAR. The required FAR is 0.8. We are proposing 1.9. Side yard violation requirement is 5 feet. We have 5 on one side and 3 on the other. Rear yard setback, the requirement is 30 feet. We are proposing 3. With regard to parking, the required parking is 3 spaces, and we are providing no off-street parking. So the violations are the dimensional violations in this zoning subdistrict, which are very common on all of the lots. If we can go back up to the site plan, that would be great. As this section of Dromey Street is a dead-end street. That dead end, if you want to go back to the site plan, that dead-end street, that section of Dromey Street, there are a number of vacant parcels, all of which are kind of small in nature. But historically, this section of Dromey Street has been the site of a lot of illegal dumping, a lot of nefarious activity. And so what we're trying to do as well is trying to create housing on vacant lots, keeping in consistent with the mayor's plan for creating housing on vacant lots in the city of Boston, as well as getting rid of the blight of these vacant lots in this section. Again, we are seeking to create a 3-family dwelling in a 3-family subdistrict at Dromey Street again. So we met with the fire department. The fire department has cleared the way for access on that section of the dead-end street. We've had several meetings with abutters and neighbors who are welcome some activity down on that section of Dromey Street. And so we are seeking your approval for this today. I can stop there and answer any questions that folks may have.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and members of the board, for the record, my name is Jeremy Bemery. I am the Community Engagement Specialist. I'm the Dorchester Community Engagement Specialist for the Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant has completed the community process, which consisted of a voters meeting facilitated on January 7th, which one voter attended in support of the proposal expressed in favor for additional housing in the development of the currently vacant lot. The proposal was then presented to Dudley Square Neighborhood Association, Dudley Square Neighborhood Initiative on February 26th. Concerns raised included the lack of proposed parking, insufficient setbacks, and the potential impact of market rate development on local property taxes, which may create financial burdens for fixed income families. Additionally, Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative expressed opposition to the proposal due to the absence of affordable housing units. To date, our office has not received any further community feedback. Thank you for your time in this office of Neighborhood Services.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Madam Chair, just if I may, these are 2-bedroom, 1-bath units. They will be home ownership opportunities. And again, I think there was some concern with the meeting at DSNI that there were no affordable units, quote unquote, affordable with regard to the IDP. And I expressed to them that it wasn't required on a project of this size. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
I put forward a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Betta-Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Sorry, yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. Have a good day.
Next, we have case BOA 1824914 with the address of 73 Satcham Street. The applicant and/or the representative are present. Would they please explain to the board?
Good morning, yes, David Hassman here.
Please proceed.
Thank you. My name is David Hassman. I'm a Mission Hill resident. I live at 13 Worthington Street, and I'm presenting this. This is a two-family property, and I'm proposing the addition of 4 units utilizing the adjacent lot, which was previously purchased from the City of Boston through the RFP process. Part of this process was in a commitment to maintain the historic wall at the front of the property and a large oak tree. Through careful design with my architectural team, Horesco Associates, we're able to design a property where we could develop units that are feasible and find to be a good fit for the neighborhood. The total unit count will be 6. We are within the height requirement of this addition. We will have 4, we are proposing to have 4 2-bedroom units and then 2 duplex 3-bed units. Our areas of relief needed are insufficient parking, use forbidden, excessive FAR, insufficient additional lot area per unit, insufficient front yard setback, and insufficient rear yard setback of the shallow lot. With that, I will turn it over to the board for comment and questions.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Ziggy Johnston with the Office of Neighborhood Services. The petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on February 4th at which no opposition was raised. The Community Alliance of Mission Hill is supporting this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, next we have Elizabeth Benham.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Benham. I live at 1 Eldora Street in Mission Hill. I was unaware of the meeting. We have trouble getting mail here because of, never mind, it's the post office, we don't get our mail. At any rate, I am concerned because this is not housing for people who are not students, and we are surrounded by students. And we also live in a place that we can hear Fenway's concerts from here. So my concern is I have to walk around and find out so I can ask the kids to please go inside or turn down the music. We're up at 3 and 4 and it's just density for me. It's density. And we have another place that's just being built now that they're gonna have like 12 kids in there, 12 more kids. So this isn't for affordable housing or for people who live in the city that want to have a community. We don't have a neighborhood anymore on the street. It's just taken over by rentals, and the rentals, they make a lot of money because they get 4 or 5 kids in one apartment, and working people cannot afford the rents in contrast to the students. And so this to me is like, this isn't helping with housing other than for students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the person with the AS iPhone.
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Adam Sarbach, Mission Hill resident, Community Alliance board member. speaking in support of it, as the ONS referenced, Dave Hassman did come multiple times to the Community Alliance, took feedback from the engagement and the meetings, and actually changed his design accordingly, eliminating some outdoor space and some patios from other neighbors' concerns, abutting neighbor concerns of that. Mission Hill is a tough neighborhood for development, and Dave Hassman went through with flying colors in the vote on approval and support in the Community Alliance, which is a rare feat. So I just wanted to point that out, both as a Mission Hill resident and as a board member of Community Alliance to support the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tony Baez.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Anthony Baez, on behalf of, we'd just like to go on record.
I'm sorry, you're going in and out.
Councilor Durkin would like to be record in support of this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are no additional comments.
Okay, are there other questions from the board? Can the applicant touch on the concerns that were raised?
Sure. I appreciate Adam's comments, and to reiterate that, so based on after initial meeting, which was March 18th, we went back to the drawing board and we removed a single outdoor space for the unit. And that was in recognition of any potential noise from the single outdoor space to our abutting neighbors. I've met with the abutters directly on site there, and I'm happy to address the comments from today's meeting, but I feel like removing the outdoor space was appropriate, and also mentioning that 5 of the 9 units that I do have are rented to professionals. So I'm not targeting students on this. I am by trade a property manager, and so I have a good track record of maintaining units as well as maintaining our residents within the community.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
There a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge. Are you on mute, Mr. Stenbridge?
Sorry about that, Madam Chair. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panato?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, at this moment, since we passed the 11 o'clock hour, I'll ask if there are any requests for withdrawals or deferrals from the 11 a.m. hearing. Hearing none, we'll return to the 9:30 hearings, to case BOA 1827268 with the address of 49 Vine Street. If the applicant and/or their representative present, then please explain the case report.
Good morning, everyone. My name is James Saniswaso. I'm representing 49 Vine Street in Charlestown. And what we're looking to do is build a carport where the existing parking spots are for the aging priests that are living in that building. There's been existing parking there, and we're just looking to add coverage for weather. We had a priest fall last year, and we've been using temporary tents almost to cover the lot, and we're just looking to put a more permanent structure there.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Can you explain in terms of the parking, what is there now? Is it just open space?
Yeah, it's just an open lot that can fit, I believe it's 4 full-size cars and 2 compact cars.
Right, but that's what you're proposing, so existing.
Sorry, those spots exist currently.
Those spots do currently exist?
Correct.
So the carport spots exist. You're not adding more parking
Correct. No, I'm just looking to add the coverage over the top of it.
over the existing parking spots.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and what is the reason again to do that?
There's just aging priests that are living there, and it's been just a struggle in the winter for them. And we've used temporary structures and like tent-like structures, and this came up. Someone suggested it, so we said let's look and see what it takes to do that.
Right, so it's for an aging population, you said?
Yeah,
For coverage.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. I would like to, I'm trying to find out why the Boston Planning Department their recommendation's denial, and I'm trying to understand the reasoning behind that, but.
If Mr. Hampton would like to weigh in, that's fine. I'm wondering.
I mean, we have the summary here, so
I'm wondering if they're clear that these were the same spots that exist. Are there other questions?
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on April 1st when abutters supported the application, citing the good community-based organization and the positive work they do in the Charlestown community. Office also received 2 letters of support with similar sentiments for building a carport over the existing parking. We're not aware of any concerns from the community. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, next we have Stefan Marin from City Councilor Escoleta.
Hi, Madam Chair, members of the board. Here on behalf of Councilor Coletta Zapata, and our office would like to go on record in support of the requested zoning relief for Harvest on Vine's proposed carport at 49 Vine Street. This improvement will strengthen food distribution operations and support an organization that provides essential services to residents across Charlestown. We respectfully urge favorable consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Any other questions from the board?
Yes.
Can you just,
go ahead.
Yeah, I would address the issue of screening. Is there any plan to do any landscaping on this site?
In front of where the cars are, there are existing trees and bushes there, but it's right now it's all asphalt. So I don't. There's nothing planned currently to add, and there's a little island behind that also has some greenery in it.
Yeah, would you be open to removing one of the compact space to allow for some green kind of vegetation screening along Tough Street? Because, you know, reading the BPD recommendation, they're proposing denial because it's impacting the major kind of pedestrian street experience. And so, you know, would you be willing to reduce one of the spaces to allow for vegetation?
We can look at that. I'm not opposed to any of that, but we can definitely look at that. And all along Tough Street there, up to where the parking lot is too, there's green space and trees and bushes, and right now when you walk up there, it's asphalt.
Right.
I have a question too, just to add. From some of the comments, people are mentioning that this cover is going to support the food distribution program. You mentioned that this is to help older residents who use those parking spaces. So which one of those two are the main reason for this proposal?
There are 2 food distributions a month that are happening in the parking lot right now. the residents live there 365 days a year. So it would do both. There are 25 food distributions a year that are right now, since COVID, happening in the parking lot. So they both would happen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the applicant works with BPD on the size of the port to allow sufficient vegetation to reduce the impact on the public way.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1704112 with the address of 19 to 21 Mill Street. If the applicants and/or their representative present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm Steve Bartlett of Foley Hoag LLP, counsel for the applicant in this appeal, Curaleaf, Massachusetts, Inc. This appeal requests board approval to change the name of the petitioner on an existing conditional use permit for the cannabis dispensary located at 19 to 21 Milk Street in downtown Boston. The name of the petitioner on the existing permit is John Moriarty, and the only change to the permit for which my client is seeking approval from the board today is to replace that name with Curaleaf, Massachusetts, Inc. The board should be aware that my client has completed the Boston Cannabis Board licensing process. On March 25th of 2026, the BCB voted to approve a cannabis license for Curaleaf at this location. Then on May 11th, 2026, Curaleaf and the City of Boston executed a host community agreement authorizing Curaleaf to operate a co-located medical and adult use cannabis dispensary at this location. So in other words, the BCB and the City of Boston have already vetted and approved Curaleaf, Massachusetts, Inc. as an operator of a cannabis dispensary at this location. And therefore, we respectfully request that the board grant this very narrow relief requested in this appeal, which is, again, simply changing the name of the petitioner on the existing conditional use permit from John Moriarty to Curaleaf, Massachusetts, Inc. That is the long and short of this appeal, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board might have. Before I do that, I would like to briefly address what I believe may have been a clerical miscommunication related to a revised refusal letter that ISD issued on April 22nd. After the BCB provided ISD with confirmation of its vote to approve a cannabis license for Curaleaf, ISD issued a revised refusal letter noting that this location, 19 to 21 Milk Street, was within the buffer zone of another cannabis establishment. But to be absolutely clear, and for the reasons that we set forth in the supplemental letter that was filed last week, this appeal does not raise any buffer zone issues. And that is because there is an active conditional use permit for a cannabis establishment at this site, which has been operated as a cannabis establishment for almost a decade. The board might be aware that this location is actually the site of the very first cannabis location in downtown Boston. In August of 2016, Patriot Care, now known as The Cannabist, opened its doors and began dispensing medical cannabis products to registered patients. Then in 2021, the conditional use permit for the site was amended to allow for both medical and adult use cannabis sales. It is this conditional use permit that remains valid, and this location has already been cited and approved by the board as a cannabis dispensary. So as a matter of law, there is no buffer zone issue that the board needs to address here today. It might be helpful for the board to know that I've discussed this very point with Ed Coburn and Caroline Burkhardt in the ISD General Counsel's office, and I won't presume to speak for them today, but my understanding is that they see this issue in the very same way and have concluded that this appeal does not give rise to any buffer zone issues. So for that reason, if the board believes it would be appropriate to make an express determination that no buffer zone issue exists here and that no variance is required for this very narrow relief that has been requested, my client and I would certainly support that resolution as a way of clarifying the record. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Bonner Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time the Mayor's Office to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS had hosted a community meeting on April 3rd of 2025 that was lightly attended. In that meeting, the applicant was able to answer questions that the Downtown Business Association's representative had for the establishment. They went on to present to the Boston Cannabis Board where they were approved. There was concerns from the Wharf District Neighborhood Council that had wanted to engage more with the applicant, as well as concerns from another dispensary operating in the downtown area. But as you heard, the Boston Cannabis Board did approve this proposal and worked out a host community agreement with them. With that information, with no further concerns that we're aware of, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional hands raised for comments.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabarazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you all.
Next, go to the hearing scheduled for 11 a.m. Once again, I'll briefly ask if there are any requests for withdrawals or deferral. Hearing none, we'll move on to case BOA 1822363 with the address of 47 Farragut Road. The applicant and or their representative are present. Will they please explain to the board?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm Nick Landry from DRT. We're the architects for the project. And I'm joined today by Andrea Higgins, the owner of the property. So we're here today. We've got a quite small project. We're just looking to finish some space in the basement to create an exercise area. We sent in a presentation. I don't know if we can pull that up. While that's getting pulled up, so what we've been cited for is an FAR violation. We're increasing the finished square footage in the basement by about 260 square feet. Oh, perfect. All right, great. So, so the project's located at 47 Farragut Road, right on the corner there. Can we go back to the last presentation? Perfect. And if we just scroll up for a second. To the first slide. So the project's located at 47 Farragut Road. Here it's on the corner of East 3rd and Farragut in South Boston. We're working on just the scope of the work will just be on the first floor and in the basement. None of this work will be visible from the exterior. Can we go to the next slide, please? You can get on the next slide here, we can see the zoning violation, there's an FAR violation. What's allowable is 2.0. Currently the building as it sits is about 2.6, and with these changes we'll be at about 2.72. And again, that's just gonna be finishing some space in the basement. If we can go down to the next page and zoom in on the plans on the left-hand side there. And just scroll down a little bit. So what we're looking at right here, the upper left-hand corner, basement, you can see there's currently some finished space in the basement. It's highlighted in blue. We're just going to be increasing that space to make that exercise area a little more usable and the bathroom also a little bit more functional. And that unit currently, in order for Andrea to access that space, she needs to exit the building door on the back of the building down a stair. Now we'll be adding a stair that will directly connect her first floor space to that basement space to make it a lot easier to use. With that's the scope of the project. And if there's any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Ziggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on March 19th at which no opposition was stated. City Point Neighborhood Association took no position on this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Next, next we have Ashley from Councilor Flynn office.
Good morning. My name is Ashley from Councilor Flynn's office. Councilor Flynn would like to go on record in support due to a good community process. He requests the proponent continue to work closely with neighbors and abutters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay. With that, may I have a motion? Sorry.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
I think that, yes.
Hi, my hand was up. You didn't call on me. You unmuted me. So my name is Luann O'Connor, president of the City Point Neighborhood Association, and I just want to go on record that the abutters meeting did happen. There was no opposition. This particular expansion is considered a good project. It's positive. It does not change the look of the house and or Farragut Road, which is one of our better looking streets in South Boston. And with that, we decided they did not need to come into City Point and could proceed straight to ZBA. So we will take no position on this. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Burrows, second.
Mr. Stumbridge.
Yes.
Mr. Valencia.
Yes.
Ms. Turner.
Yes.
Ms. Barbarazza.
Yes.
Ms. Pinato.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 181-1934 with the address of 16 Monument Square. If the applicants and or their representative are present, would they please explain to the board?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chairperson and board members. My name is Sarah Matuza. I am the owner of 16 Monument Square, and alongside me I have my architect, Elena Rosado, to help answer any technical questions that you may have. In essence, I am the owner of the top floor unit of a 5-unit dwelling on Monument Square. Collectively, we are in need of a new front half of the roof due to leakage. I am the lucky recipient of those leaks and have had those for the past 6 or so years since I purchased in 2020. The roof predates me from the late 80s, and the roof deck also predates me by a few owners. With the demolition and redo of the roof, I would like to get a new roof deck. I was told it would be cheaper to actually do an entire rebuild than to reuse all of the existing materials that are up there. And so I am asking for the ability to extend the footprint of the roof by 2 feet closer to the street. I will be in the same breath reducing the total height of the roof deck and total height over on the right. You can see that, and additionally I'm making a design change to the structure itself. Today they are wooden slats that are about 1.5 to 2 inches wide each, up and down, and it will be a much more minimal design of a cable wiring for less presence, so to say. It's only one facing view to the street. Each of the 2 sides are concrete structures of my neighbors at both 15 and 17. So with that, I'd love to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on April 14th at which no comments were made. That background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
There a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll take a 5-minute break to 11:30.
Recording stopped.
Mr. Stenbridge? You're on mute.
And hopefully I'm not now. Madam Chair, present.
Thank you. Mr. Valencia?
Present.
Ms. Turner?
Present.
Ms. Benabraza?
Present.
Ms. Panado?
Present.
Mr. Collins?
Present.
Thank you. Right back to you, Mr. Stenbridge.
Madam Chair, I need to recuse from this case.
Hasn't even been read yet, but okay.
Okay, yes, we'll read discussion cases scheduled for 11:30 a.m. We begin with case BOA 1821678 with the address of 70 Auckland Street. If the applicant, sorry, Madam Chair, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we're a 6-member board.
Yes.
And I believe Mr. Christopher is ready?
I am, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is James Christopher of 686 Architects with the business address of 10 Forbes Road. I'm here today on behalf of Niem Nguyen and 70 Auckland Street. The proposal before you is to construct a rear 2-story addition with parking at grade. We need some zoning relief, which include the use itself. This will be a 5-unit building. It's currently a 3-unit building. We'll be adding 2 units to the addition. Lot width and frontage, the existing lot is 40 feet wide. The requirement is 50. FAR, the existing FAR is 0.64, and we are proposing 1.05. Building height and front yard, which are pre-existing non-conformances, we will be matching the existing height at 36'2". The side yard is both left and right are pre-existing non-conforming, but we'll be extending that pre-existing non-conformance on the left side, but not worsening. And then the rear yard is currently 76.5 feet, and it's required to be 30, and we are proposing 17.7 feet. As we go through the plans, the proposal is it's pretty straightforward. It's a 3-unit building. There's no work to happen to the front building. We construct a 2-story rear addition with 5 covered parking spaces to the rear. There was a change during the community process to the building shape and design, as we had a flat roof, and the comments came up that they would prefer it a little pitched, and so we were able to accommodate that. 5 parking spaces at grade while maintaining a 17-foot rear yard open space. So with that, I'll answer any questions I can.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board?
Yes, could you please provide more information about your landscape and open space plan? There are a couple of comments about concerns that you don't have enough green space, open space. And also, what is your plan for parking? One of the abutters is mentioning that the parking is going to negatively impact their property. So if you can just talk about those 2 items.
Sure. Currently, there is 2 parking spaces at grade to the rear of the property. Under the new addition, we will have 5 spaces. To the rear of the property, we will have a 17-foot by 40-foot, a little bit less because we have a turnaround area of open space, which we're certainly happy to work with the BPD to provide some planting and usable space to that area. But the parking is accessed off of the driveway, 5 spaces, 1 per unit.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Ella Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 70 Auckland Street, our office defers to the board's judgment on this matter. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on 4/14/26. That was well attended by the Dorchester community members. The feedback from this meeting was mostly productive community conversations, where some concerns were also expressed regarding the parking and the height of the building. The proposal was also reviewed by the Columbia 7 Hill Civic Association, where they opposed the proposal with concerns related to density. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you, everyone, for your time and consideration.
Thanks. Next, we have Lilian Rimas from Consuelo Fitzgerald.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. The council would like to go on record in opposition to this proposal due to some of the community concerns with the size of the building and density on the plotted plan. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
Okay. Any additional response from the applicant?
No, I think, this area is a densely populated area. While adding the much-needed housing in close proximity to 2 train stations, we are still maintaining a yard that is larger than most of our abutters. So I think that this is an appropriate use of this site. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion of approval with the provisos that the plan undergoes planning department review, special attention to increasing and improving open space.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Mr. Stenbridge.
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia.
Yes.
Ms. Turner.
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
I'm gonna say no. I think that the project is too dense as it is. I think you could fit 5 units if you were to occupy half of that addition, rework some of the existing building, and therefore then increase the open space.
Ms. Panani?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the note I have is that the remaining cases have been withdrawn.
I'm sorry, did you say this case is being withdrawn?
We have 2 remaining cases and both have been withdrawn.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Have a good day.
Have a good day. all.
Recording stopped.